this point, sure, F it and Jeff it. We're gonna check out this Dave Rubin video that has only slightly more than 1,000 views. Let's go.
All right, this is People of the Internet, the show where Isabel Brown and I show you people of the internet doing weird, wacky, and wild things. Hello, Isabel.
Dave Rubin looks like he wants to die. Oh my god. I can't watch Kung Fury on stream.
Hey Dave, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. I'd like to get two interesting notes out before we get to it today. First off, it was Valentine's Day last night, and we were not going to do anything because, as I said on the show yesterday, the best gift that I can give David is just do a little more for the kids when I'm done. My day ends around 5 o'clock with the show, and that way we can just have like a quick dinner and he can rest. That's like the plan. But then around like 7:45-ish. We realized we hadn't cooked anything. We were looking at the fridge, kind of like, we don't know what we want to do. Why don't we?
Man, I love Dave Rubin planning a romantic night with his partner and absolutely beefing it.
Go out. We just never go out, and certainly it's hard with kids to just spontaneously go out. But like, we're going to go out. We just got in the car. We said we're going to go to this general area. We know there's about 10 restaurants. We've never been to any of them. We're just going to walk around, see what's what. We end up at this Italian place, walk in, and by golly, who's there but Isabel Brown and her fiance Brock, who's just feet away from me right now. Like, the chances of that are ridiculous. There's
Like
a gajillion
insanely
restaurants
slim.
here.
Yeah. Well, okay, from my version, because I was going to tell this story too, it was the funniest thing. We had no plans of like a reservation or a place to go on Valentine's Day, which in a big foodie city like Miami was very foolish. So over the weekend,
Try
we were
not to
driving
give any
back from the
contextual
Everglades.
clues about the location.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I won't.
Okay.
I will. On the weekend,
No,
we're
try
driving
not
back
to.
from
Try
the
not to.
Everglades. Don't.
Their dynamic is really bad. Like, so bad, guys.
Give clues.
No,
I know. I won't give clues.
Yeah, no clues about the location.
I know.
Specifically.
Yeah.
Right.
Same page. We're good.
Yeah, okay,
So we're
okay.
driving back from the Everglades, and I'm like, well, it's also Ash Wednesday, so we're not supposed to eat meat on Wednesday because we're Catholic. So I'm thinking we could go to seafood, or we could go to Italian and get pasta. We love Italian food. So I Google like best Italian restaurants for a date night in Miami or something, and there's lists of like 40 or 50 restaurants, all of which have reservations because it's Valentine's Day and people think ahead farther than I do. So I happened upon this one that I've never been to, but looks pretty cute. Their menu looks nice, so I happened to get a reservation. And we go, and the food was great. And at the end of our meal, after they'd taken our food away, we're sitting there talking, finishing our conversation, and these two people start like slowly approaching our table. And I'm thinking to myself in the back of my mind, who is weirdly slowly approaching our table and like crouching down to approach our table? And lo and behold, it was you and David. And it took me a solid like 10 seconds to be like, oh, it's you guys.
You were freaking out.
Why my brain did not connect that? Maybe because I see you through a screen every day and not in real life. But it
was rather jarring to see you in all three dimensions.
I know.
It was a little weird. Yeah, but we did it. I have to say, the place was kind of cute. I liked the vibe, good energy in there, good crowd. Did not think the food was great, to be quite honest with you.
Well, I guess it depends on what you order. I liked the food. They seemed a bit chaotic, but it is Valentine's Day, so that's probably why I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt there.
Well, anyway, it was nice to see you in real life, not just through these electronic wires.
Oh, good. The video's over. Yay. Oh, nope. We're only 10% of the way through.
I do have one other thing that I have to tell you, which I think you might be aware of already. But Connor, our trusty director here in the Rubin Report, People of the Internet Studio, has COVID.
Yeah.
He's coughing his brains out. He's hot. He's cold. He's, what's that song by what's her name?
Hot
Katy Perry. He's all that stuff. He's up and he's down. He's left and he's right. He's whatever, girl and a boy, I don't know, whatever. But he's pretty sick. but he
Yeah,
came
I
to
have a
work.
bone to pick
Brock's
with you
here.
over that.
You know, we're all going down with the ship. That's just the policy around here.
Well,
And
we
you're
can't
now
go
with
down
us.
with the ship. So my plea to you in front of all of the internet people watching this show is, as soon as we're off the air, please send my fiance home so that he doesn't get COVID, because we have to do some wedding planning stuff next week that requires travel. So he cannot afford to get sick. Very irresponsible of you, Sir Connor, but I know you have to push all the buttons, so that's the world we live in, I suppose.
Connor's saying he got it at your Super Bowl party.
No. Fake news. No. Immediately no. We just say no to COVID. You know,
like, so much is happening here that I dislike, but more than anything, and I think what's going to get me through this video, is knowing that Dave Rubin is dying in his soul. He's dying right now on the inside. He doesn't give a single shit about this lady.
if you just choose not to participate, it doesn't come to pass.
Yeah.
I actually was laughing when we were at the Everglades. We were standing in line for one of the fan boat tours, and they have all of these funny rules at their property. It's like, if it's raining, you will get wet. You will not get a refund. Like, that's how this works, kind of thing. And they have a sign on this big wooden pole that I actually took a picture of because I thought it was so funny. And I sent it to my family group chat. And I said, this is how Florida ends up handling COVID. I'll see if I can. Here it goes. No coronavirus allowed on this property. If you can see that, it's just an immediate no.
Nice.
You're just not allowed on the property. So that's what you should have said, Dave. That's how Florida handles this virus. Connor, you irresponsible man.
No, I do want to give, joking aside, I want to give Connor credit. He's really sick as a dog, but he has skills in this room that we don't all have, and we actually just.
Oh, so he's literally right there being sick at Dave Rubin. Wonderful. Dave Rubin is trapped in a room with a man that is absolutely going to give him coronavirus. Oh my god, dude. He's really sick. Like, he's coughing up blood, but you know, he has some skills and we need him in here.
Talk to the whole team about how we're going to all have to learn a little bit about everybody's job so that we have a backup, because the guy's pretty sick over there. I just made him tea. That's what I do. That's my part.
Your contribution. Yeah.
I went into the kitchen, I turned on the tea kettle, throat coat tea with a little honey.
I love throat coat tea. That stuff
Okay, as somebody who has no idea what throat coat tea is, it sounds like a euphemism for something else. That's it, you know. It sounds like a euphemism for something else, chat.
Laps, Dave. Good choice. Good choice.
Anyway, when we're all sick.
No.
All right,
That's the world we live in, I suppose.
Connor's saying he got it at your Super Bowl party.
Funny, and I sent it to my family group chat.
Everybody's job so that we have a backup, because the guy's pretty sick over there. I just made him tea. That's what I do. That's my part.
Your contribution. Yeah.
I went into the kitchen. They're literally breathing all over each other right now, like within. Yeah, it's really kind of gross.
Ha 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 ha. Yeah. They're getting each other sick. And, you know, I made them come into work, but it's okay because I made them tea. Like, what an actual ghoul.
Okay. All right, what are we doing on the show today? What are we doing today?
Well, speaking of date nights, because I thought this was fun of a theme after I ended up seeing you in real life last night, I watched this video this morning of a married couple who decided to spice things up for their latest date night at home. And I think it's the funniest, most ingenious idea, and I think we both need to try this.
Oh my!
That's fun.
It looks just like he's like looking in a mirror. You got complexion. Oh my god. It's my wife.
Ah! Oh.
I can't breathe.
Jesus. Wow.
I'm sorry, is the premise of this show supposed to be a more boring version of America's Funniest Home Videos? Is that the premise of this? Is this just the most boring version of America's Funniest Home Videos? Where the videos aren't funny? This is so much worse. Why would you make this?
How would you think you would paint David is the real question.
You know, we've had like little art nights with other couples over the years, and I can do like some abstract.
Still funnier than Dave
nonsense, and
Rubin's
I'm not
stand-up.
a particularly
True.
good painter, simple lines, things of that nature. He's pretty good. Like, he's got some art skills. And his sister is an incredible artist who did, as people know, some of the artwork that's in here. Can we change the camera angle for just 1 second and show the, we got something we can maybe shift over there? Yeah, she's done, this is one of her, that's a print of something that we have in our house, and she's really incredible. So maybe it runs in the family. I feel like his would be a lot better of me than mine of, like,
Which
it
would
be,
make it
we're
fun.
looking at a stick figure situation, you know?
You can't do better than a stick
What?
figure, Dave. Come
Within
on.
reason. It would be Simpsons-esque, let's put it that way. I could do like Simpsons eyes and, you know.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It would just be like a cartoon version. I think we should all try it. And low key, if David's is way better than yours, that's part of the fun. He might
Absolutely.
be wildly offended, but it is part of the fun.
Who would be better, you or Brock? I'm trying to think artistically. I feel like he can't.
He's
If
not.
maybe if it was digital, he could do something, but I can't see him using
if
like
it was
a pen
Photoshop,
or.
it would probably be better on
Yeah.
his end.
Yeah.
I'm probably more of the visual artist than he is, but I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to do this for our next date night, and then we'll show each other the picture results.
All right. Next time we actually set up an evening, I will smoke the meat.
I love it.
We will get paint. We will get some small. What do you call those things?
Easels?
Not an easel, but what would well, you'd need an easel, but what do you put on the easel? The
Canvas?
The canvas, thank you.
What are those things?
Canvas,
A canvas?
because I was thinking it's not just the paper. I'm talking about, it's a little thick like
Yeah,
this.
you need a
and-
canvas, like a
canvas,
wrapped
canvas. Yeah,
canvas,
wrapped
yeah.
canvas. We'll giclée it. I don't know what that means.
All
but
right,
it's something,
I love
right?
it.
Okay.
Next date night. Assuming all of you recover from this horrible, debilitating illness sweeping its way through the Rubin report.
I do
Then
have
Ha 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 ha! It killed over 1 million people. Ha 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 ha. I think this is on par with Milo Yiannopoulos being reduced to selling trinkets on like CBN. Like Milo Yiannopoulos had to like turn into like an infomercial salesman for like a religious fundamentalist group. And I think this is Dave Rubin's absolute low. This is Dave Rubin destroyed.
there was
mild
another
headache
one.
actually, but let's just play through.
I saw another video related to Valentine's Day, and this one made me feel kind of bad for this mom, but this is the most hilarious birthday in the US.
If your birthday is November 14, you were born exactly 9 months after Valentine's Day, and you can do what you will with that information. Yeah. Lindsay's first child was born on November 14, 2007. Lindsay's second child was born on November 14, 2009. Lindsay says, I used to like Valentine's Day. I mean, well, obviously.
Yeah, sounds like you had a great time.
But now...
I mean, babies don't work like that, though. Babies don't come out exactly 9 months after to the day. Presumably, if you have a good sex life, you're having sex like all the time around Valentine's Day too. I guess maybe if you're straight and the love has been lost in your relationship, then sure, I guess.
Now she hates it because, and I quote, every single person I know texts me every year being like, oh, big
Not
plans.
again, no.
Wait, what? There's a video of Dave Rubin agreeing that the world is flat? I need to see that video.
Oh, yeah. Going for the free Pete.
Whoa.
I like these two. Are they conservative? No, I think Dave Rubin and this lady are just like pulling clips from around the internet to show to a conservative audience and then pretending to laugh about it.
I'll have what she's having.
Literally.
You know, people, it's one of the things people do on Valentine's Day.
Indeed. And actually, it reminded
That's deeply uncomfortable. Dave Rubin staring into the camera and saying, you know, that's one of the things that people do on Valentine's Day. Yeah. You don't. That's something you don't actually need to point out, because the entire premise of the bit you just covered was that is what people do on Valentine's Day, oftentimes.
me September 16th is the most common birthday in America. I don't know if you knew that. It is the most common birthday for people, and it also happens to be my baby sister's birthday. But like middle September is the most common week for birthdays because it's 40 weeks after Christmas.
Oh, after Christmas, right? I was thinking New Year's, right? So, okay, that works. Yeah.
Yeah, right around the same time. Yeah, give or take a few days, but
Right.
fascinating stuff.
Who's having sex on Christmas? Like, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve. Like, if you have kids, you're not having sex on Christmas Eve. My God.
Well, you know, a lot of people are off work, you know, really starting 24th, 23rd, 24th of December into the 2nd of January. You're stuck at home. It's snowing. You know, what else do you have to
Got
do?
a lot to
No,
do.
no. If you have kids, you are not having sex on Christmas Eve unless you're like bougie and wealthy. But you can have sex on Christmas morning while they're playing with their toys. I mean, I guess if you're the quietest sex havers in the world, maybe. I guess it's easier if like the sex you do is like, I don't know, like 5 minutes. I don't understand how anyone could have sex in 5 minutes, but we had a big house. There it is. That makes more sense. If your house is big enough to have a broom closet somewhere, then it makes more sense.
Ew, I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah.
But how embarrassing would that be if everyone you know is texting you like, hey, with the sideways smiley emojis? I would never want to speak to anyone ever again, to be honest.
And you know, when you get those texts and you don't know who the person is and you look at the text thing and you never save their number and you have like 5 years worth of Merry Christmas, 5
Yep.
years of happy birthday, 5 years of congratulations, you did it on this day 3 years ago.
I'm actually totally that person. I never remember to save people's numbers in text, and I just think like, oh, I'll save it later, but like I know who this is in the context of the conversation. And then a year will go by, they'll text me something else, and I have to scroll all the way back up to the top because I'm like, who is this
I've
person?
got a lot
Who
of those.
was
I
even talking to?
I have somebody in my phone called, and I just decided not to delete it because I think it's funny. It's Steven, what's his name? I have no idea who that is, where I met this person.
How
As
awkward
far
if
as I
he's
can tell, I
watching
don't.
Why do we care? Why do you need to tell us this, Dave? How on earth is this relevant? How is this relevant? How is this an interesting story, Dave? We're not here. We're not even here for the witty repartee you have with Isabel Brown, because there's not going to be any from a story like that.
have a text
right now.
communication with them. I should text Steven, what's his name? Hello.
Who are you? Why do I?
That would be. It would be interesting if you actually did that. That would be content, Dave.
I know.
Steven, what's his name?
I'm also just a bad texter in general, though. I feel kind of guilty about it sometimes, but I just have so many things going on during my day, or like people will text me while I'm streaming or while we're on the show for this, and I'll see it come across the screen. I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going to respond to that. That's actually important. And I mentally respond to it in my brain, and then like a week will go by.
I do this as well. I often think that I've responded to someone, and I did not.
And I never actually responded. So if you've ever been a victim of that from me, I sincerely apologize. It is not personal whatsoever, but I am a horrible texter.
Or you end up doing like the bulk texting thing, which is what I ended up doing this morning, because last night we were at dinner and we got there about 8 o'clock. I think we left about 11 or so. And I didn't look at my phone once while we were there. And then I get in the Uber after, or I got in the car after, and like I look and I had like 50 texts. And I
Oh
was like,
my
I'm
gosh.
not just different, some of them were in the same thread of people
Yeah.
writing a bunch of different things, or one was a group text, but like I had so many texts, and I didn't respond to anything. And then this morning I just bulk was like, sorry, missed you, how you doing, what's going on, nice to see you, who's this, Steven, what's his name?
That's the worst in a group text, especially when you've missed like 50 messages and then you have to respond to all of the
Yeah.
things that they were talking about at once. You just feel like the odd one out. But honestly, I will
It's a
just
rough life.
mute group texts. I will. I hate being in group text unless it's something that's actually important. And when I'm the owner of a group text and I actually have to send important things, then I feel guilty because I'm spamming these people in a group text that I know they really don't want to be a part of, but kind of need to, like my bridesmaids. Every time I text in my bridesmaid group text, I'm like, hey, with a bunch of Y's, and I'm trying to lighten the mood because I feel really bad for blowing up their phone.
They're like, it's Isabel
Shut up.
again. She already put us in an ugly brown dress, and we all have to
Hey,
get that weird haircut.
No brown, and I let them pick their own dresses, okay?
Oh, you
So I'm
did?
trying to be a low maintenance bride over here. I'm doing my best.
That was
Brock
nice
may
of you.
disagree with that statement, but I am trying really hard.
Meanwhile, Brock told everybody here that we all have to wear the same dress, which it's off the shoulder. It looks ridiculous.
So awkward.
Anyway, what else we
Different
got?
colors at least, or all the same color too?
No, he said same dress, same dress.
Can't wait to see that. That's going to be fun. All right, Dave, I got a great clip for you. I understand this man more and more with each passing day.
Hi. One herbal tea, please.
Which flavor?
Flavor. Jasmine?
Sorry, I meant for the boba.
The little spheres of tapioca and sugar?
The tea comes with boba.
Well,
Man, anyone who captions a Dennis Reynolds clip from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with "I understand him more and more as I get older" is insane. Anyone who sympathizes and is like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally Dennis," is insane. Dennis Reynolds like fantasizes about like committing acts, like fantasizes about being a serial killer. He screams at a man for wanting to buy his car. He, like, every episode is like he has a room full of like VHS tapes of his sexual conquests that he took without their knowledge. He literally has a dating method that relies on the implication that he is going to be dangerous and violent towards women he wants to sleep with. He is an evil man. He's bad. You shouldn't understand him more and more as you get older. The entire show is deliberately built around the premise that you should not be empathizing with this man.
it doesn't, because I see the tea right there and I see the boba over there. So why don't we just not combine them? Yeah? So I'll take the tea without the covert diabetes delivery mechanism, please.
The system won't let me do that.
The system.
Shut up, Dave.
Yeah, no, fine. One boba, please. We'll call it a mental health day treat. Self-care, right? Isn't that what people call it whenever they need an excuse to do whatever the fuck they want?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, of course you don't. course you don't. One chewy sugar tea, please.
All right, you can scan the code.
Why?
Because the code takes you to the app.
That's 2 apps today. Yeah. Got apps for everything, you know? Even though I'm already talking to the person that could just take my order right here, but I got to download an app, right? How about this? I have cash. You have tea. Why don't we just streamline this?
We don't take cash, though.
Yeah. How about cards? Take cards?
Yes,
Oh, great.
but there is a $10 minimum. There's no minimum on the app, though.
Sorry, it's it's not your fault.
I've actually never seen this episode. So I feel like I'm missing the full context, but I'm 90% sure, just from having watched a lot of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia multiple times, I have a feeling that like literally like 5 minutes after this scene happens, something insane and monstrous occurs.
Well, you know, you didn't create the system.
Guys like Sam Harris's nicer, happier cousin.
Yep.
There's a lot there. I'd like to talk about the system for a moment, but why don't I let you field this one
Oh, I was
first? That
just gonna
constant
say-
frustration.
2 major takeaways from this. Number 1, I hate boba. I hate boba. I don't know if that's like a horrible thing for me to say, because for whatever reason, the people who love boba, it's like a cult. Like they think that you are the antichrist if you don't like boba tea. But it's a texture thing for me. The little tiny gelatinous balls in my drink, not a good meshing vibe. If I want a drink, I want liquid, not solid in the liquid. That's disgusting. Thing number 2, his sentence there right in the middle of, we'll just call it self-care. I guess that's what we call it when people want to do whatever the F they want. Genius, because that is exactly our society today.
Can you just say
Oh,
gelatinous
so
balls one more
true.
time?
Gelatinous balls.
Remember how relatable Dennis Reynolds was when he wanted to remake Lethal Weapon? With one of his white friends being a black character. Anyway.
Brock made me do that. He texted me while you said it. Have her say
Nice.
gelatinous balls one more time. You know, the system, the idea that the system will not allow this girl to do anything. I've had an experience like this. So years and years ago, when I was doing stand-up, didn't have much money. I was always eating hot footlong.
Jesus, Dave, I wonder why you didn't have much money while you were doing stand-up. You trying to tell me you weren't a very popular stand-up comedian?
Long hot dogs, footlong
Shocked.
sandwiches at Subway. Remember?
Foot-long hot dogs would be
I was
insane.
always eating footlong hot dogs. There's Dave again with his footlong hot dog. He eats 3 of those a day.
Foot-long sandwiches.
I was
yes.
eating the footlong at Subway, and I think back in the day, you may
$5.
yeah, but I think even
$5
before, I think it might have been a
footlong.
$4 footlong
This
back
is
in
so
back in
painful,
early
chat.
2000s. Johnny. So I used
Wow.
to go to the same place, and I probably had this thing basically every day for lunch. And it was the Italian BMT, and it was ham, salami, and pepperoni. But I didn't want ham. I always wanted to see if they could replace it with turkey. And I would say to the guy, and I went through this same conversation with this
Dave,
guy.
why the fuck
10,000
do we
times.
give a
I would say,
shit?
"Could I have the footlong Italian BMT on whole wheat bread with spicy mustard, and could you possibly swap out the ham with turkey?" And the conversation would go the exact same way every single day. "Sir, I am sorry, I cannot do that, because if I do that, the computer will say we have more ham than turkey at the end of the day, and the
Well, why
amount
couldn't
of
you just-
meat we have in the bin has to match the amount of meat in the computer. Heads will roll." You know, and
But
once
at Subway, can't you build your own sandwich? Why couldn't he just
was
put it in
before-
one by one?
it was before building your own sandwich, you had to
Oh.
play.
What? When has Subway? When have you? I'm sorry. You could just ask them. You could still build your own sandwich. You could be like, I want blah 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 and blah on my sandwich, and they'd make it for you. what do you talk, Dave? You were just being lazy. It was before Subway allowed you to build your own sandwich. Fuck off. You lying piece of shit.
Play by the rules. Once in a blue moon, if that guy wasn't there, there was another guy that would do it. And he'd always be like, I'm not supposed to do this, but I'll do it. And then the other guy, I think they were brothers, actually. There was a real tension in that family.
Clearly, yeah.
But his point was, what he was basically saying to me is what that girl.
Yeah, dog. The two brothers who worked at Subway, yeah, who were dedicated to not doing your order. This sounds like a very real story.
Was saying was, it's not me. It's not. I'd love to do it. I would love to swap the ham and the turkey. It's the system.
It's the system.
The
Why do we
dentist
make things so
system.
much more difficult than they need to be, is my question.
Ham, turkey.
It's all the same. It's just meat on a sandwich.
At Subway,
You'd
it
think.
literally is the same. They just color it differently. It's the same freaking thing.
It's not even meat. It's just plastic, mostly.
Did you ever see that unbelievably disgusting video? I think it's of Subway. I don't want to get sued. So if Bob,
I
what's your
think I
dad's
know
name?
what you're
Bob the
talking
lawyer.
about.
Wait, Bob. What's your dad's name again?
Robert.
Rob.
It's not
Okay,
Bob. Yeah.
Robert. Rob the lawyer, just clear me on this one. But that video, I think it's of Subway where they show you how they make the tuna. Have you seen that?
It's Subway, which actually makes me really sad because
Can we find that
this
one?
is such a
Subway
weird
tuna.
personality trait of me. I love tuna. I love like the little tuna
That's not a-
packs. I love a good tuna.
That's not a personality trait. Liking tuna isn't the personality. I'm sorry if you think that makes you a more interesting person. It doesn't. That's not a personality trait, Isabel. Who is this for? Clearly nobody, because it has 1,000 views and it released over a week ago.
Sandwich. I just grew up eating it, so it's normal for me. I don't know. And it's also really good for you, by the way. Everybody wants to say, ugh, tuna is so disgusting. It's actually like a great source of protein. So in
Isabel,
case you're confused about that.
I make the best tuna. We'll do the steak thing as always, but I'm gonna make some of my tuna for you. I'm not even gonna say the ingredients on air. I made it this week. I make the best tuna. It's a recipe that
Yum.
was handed down from my great grandma Lily, and it is the best tuna you've ever had. And I'll tell you one other thing. You know, I'm not worried about germs or like that sort of stuff. I've got patient zero in the studio right now, but I will not order tuna at a restaurant. I believe.
Well,
you
now
have
I
to-
won't.
No, not even because of this Subway thing. I just think something about the mayo. I just think you have to know the person who's making
Oh,
your
that's
tuna.
fair.
That's my policy.
That's fair. Well, that video ruined my whole life because I used to get tuna sandwiches at Subway. That was like my favorite thing to get at Subway, and then that ruined me. But then it turns out that like all of the food at Subway is not really edible food, which is a shame because I heard that they just started creating footlong cookies in addition to the footlong sandwiches.
that'll help. That'll
Yeah,
help.
I know. I'm sure it won't. But I've been introduced to a whole new world of subs since moving.
I've also been introduced to a whole new world of subs since I started streaming here over on riverboat.gg. And folks, if you've been enjoying this pain, good news, there's 10 more minutes of it. But we have been going now for about 4 hours. If you've been enjoying the show, please hit the follow button on Twitch, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, hit the like button on the YouTube stream, and consider dropping some subs or donos of your onos. Because your subs and donos are what allow me to continue making this show. And to continue making these thumbnails. Which I have continued to do, by the way. So, just as an FYI, you know, we got your little Benny Johnson. Yeah, it's not the most interesting thumbnail I've ever come up with in my life. Okay, I'm not, but I gotta get him done. Here's one. The tone is off in this campaign ad about Jenk's campaign. I think it looks nice, and I'm almost done with the next one, and I think you guys will like it. So anyway. Hope y'all are doing okay. I'll remember this for the rest of my life. My personality is canned tuna now. No. They're all right thumbnails. She makes fun of people who make boba part of their personality, yet is proud to claim that tuna is a personality trait. True.
Moving to Florida, Dave, and the pub sub has changed my life at Publix.
Oh, like at Publix, but is that pre-made? Pre-made?
No, okay, so you haven't had a pub sub yet, because
Haven't
you would
had a
know
pub
what
sub.
I'm talking about.
Mm-mm.
If you walk into Publix and you go to
God.
the deli, I just had my first one in, when was this? October, maybe a few months ago, but now we get them pretty regularly. If you walk into the deli, they have their own version of Subway, but it's like real food that they get from around the grocery store. When they run out of the ingredient, they literally walk into the grocery store, grab it, and come back. So this is how you know it's real. But they have this thing at Publix that is so ingenious that I never would have considered. They put their famous
What program do I use to make thumbnails? I use an online image editor called Be Funky.
chicken tenders on a sandwich. And this is the chicken tender.
I can't believe that she... How old is she? Like, I feel like Dave Rubin is, like, in his 40s, mid to late 40s, and she's, like, 23. Because she's having her mind blown by the concept of a deli in a supermarket.
Tender pub subs at Publix, and you can get like chicken parmesan marinara style one. They have a bacon chicken ranch sub that tastes a lot like the Quiznos carbonara sandwich. If you know, you know. That thing was earth-shatteringly good. Genius chicken tenders on a sandwich, and they're pretty cheap, actually cheaper than Subway now, and they're really freaking delicious.
As you know, you don't have to sell me on the chicken tender. All right, do we have the Subway tuna video? We do
I don't
not have it. Has it been strucken down?
Oh, it's so disgusting. I don't.
Wow, they can't
What?
find it. So we both have a memory of this video, but maybe the
Oh,
Subway
yeah.
people, they're in
I
cahoots
had like
with...
20 people send it to me because I would get tuna sandwiches at Subway.
Wow, maybe Big Tuna's in it with Big Tech.
Maybe. And if I just fall over dead one day, it's probably from all of the Subway tuna that I ate over the years. So
All right,
rest.
How do you eat so much tuna that you're even jokingly worried about dying from it? That's weird. That's weird.
Eats my soul. That's just gonna be
Speaking
that.
speaking of falling over dead, we got to move this show because Connor's laying on his desk right now. Let's go. What do we got?
Poor Connor. All right, I got one last clip for you.
Okay.
This is how it feels to enter the United States the right way as a citizen versus everybody else.
Check your laptops and electronics out the back. If you got a hoodie on, take it off. Take it off. How many times I gotta get Sorry.
That's great.
Okay, there we go. Now we're narrowing down who this show is for. You know, we show a couple of benign things, we have a little bit of inane chatter, and then we get a little bit of racism as a treat.
Yeah, it's funny because it's true. The things they do, TSA is the most ridiculous, buffoonish clown car of nonsense.
Hi Rose, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Or wait, sorry. Melee Ethos, thank you for gifting a sub to Zyros. Hell yeah. Let's go.
Pat downs, do you get pat down a lot? Because they always find pretty blonde
No.
girls to pat down. They don't blonde. No, they're not.
Oh. That was really gross. They must pat you down all the time. They always find the pretty blonde ones to pat down. No? Oh. Gross.
And I get you.
No,
I
TSA
get
is
you.
pretty great to me, relatively speaking, actually. I kind of have it down to a science because I have clear and pre-check. So I go to the front of the pre-check line and then I kind of just walk through, to be honest.
I know you guys love that clear. I got to get on that clear. You love it. You love it. And
Game
you think you're better than the rest of us.
It matters when it matters. Like, honestly, sometimes you really don't need it. There's no major benefit to it. But when the airport is totally packed on those busy travel days and you're like going to miss your flight, when you skip to the front of the pre-check line, when that is like an hour long, it saves your entire day.
Right. The thing is with the pat downs, are you hearing my landscapers outside? We are a soundproof
Yeah.
studio. We are a soundproof studio here, but they're like right at the door right now doing important things. The pat down guys, like when they always bring out, when they want somebody for that extra thing and they're like going right to the genitals and the butt, and it's just like, and it's always like the weirdest looking person, like they just like got them out of like the underground cave and they're like, go get Bertha, and she comes out and she's like, I'll pat you down, and then it's just also who
Immediately.
I got one for you, a deep philosophical question. Who pats down these people? You know what I'm saying? They all show up to work.
All I'm gonna say is that Dave Rubin is lucky that there isn't a literal joke police. Because if there was, he'd be under arrest instantaneously. He'd be under arrest so fast, he would never be getting out of joke prison.
Work, they get on the other side of the machine. Do they have to go through the machine? Does anyone check?
No.
Hey, you guys ever think about, who watches the Watchmen? That makes a lot of sense to me. What about who pats down the TSA agent? Do they have to go through like a second TSA that gropes their genitals? Yeah, think about that one. And they always go for the pretty blonde ones.
What the hell, David?
On them? Because most of them seem like they should be looked at.
Well, a lot of the people, if I remember, like the people who work inside the airport, they have to go through security, but it's really expedited. They just like flash their little badge, but they do have to go through the detectors, don't they?
I guess.
But
Yeah,
I don't know
guess.
that
Yeah, sometimes they'll
TSA
push you
has
out of the
to.
way to get one of them through the detector. Yeah.
Yep. Interesting.
We didn't find the tuna
Well,
video,
frankly, I'd rather climb over barbed wire fence than go through TSA because those people are always just so mean. They are the
Then do it. Do it, bitch. It's so easy to get into the United States to then just jump over the fence. Yeah, swim through the barbed wire in the river. It's so much easier than going through TSA. Is this at his house? Yeah, he's recording from his house.
most miserable people. I think the old stereotype was that if you're the most miserable person on earth, you used to work at the DMV. I
Yeah.
think all of those people now work at TSA because they have nothing else better to do with their time than embrace this fake power trip that doesn't really exist to yell at you about how the rules change every day. One day at one airport, you don't have to take anything out of your bag and you don't have to take your shoes off and you just walk through. And then at a different airport the same day, then all of a sudden everything's coming out. Your liquids have to be in the
Yeah.
bag. The laptop has to be in its own bin. Like, don't even blink at me before I tell you have to go. And it's so intense all the time.
And you know what? It doesn't make you safer either. It's literally called security theater. It doesn't keep you safer at all whatsoever.
Your travel hairspray is more than 4 ounces. I'm gonna have to rub your genitals with the front of my hand.
Why is it always the beauty products too? Literally, I got stopped once for
Just check a bag. This is the pro tip hack, okay? Just check a bag. If you check a bag, they aren't going to make a big fuss about your liquids. Just check a bag.
For a tube of sunscreen. For like an hour. They had to wait and wait and wait and go through my bag. It was a tube like this big of sunscreen, and they just threw it away. And that was it. That was the solution. But meanwhile, people get through on accident with, like, I've been through on accident with the pepper spray still attached to my keys and all kinds of stuff, and nobody has ever said anything.
Yeah.
It's always beauty products.
I beheaded a guy in Mexico, flew the head in. It's in the studio right
The head
now.
was in a bag.
This is really hammering home why Dave Rubin was financially struggling while he was pursuing stand-up comedy.
It was in a bowling ball bag, obviously. All right, I'm told we did not find the tuna video, but we do have one more from the team over here. Let's see.
You can't turn the we can't turn the clock back. I know it's after midnight. We can't turn the clock back and turn it back into the mid-'80s.
Your video of this the other day where you were reacting to the sports commentary, I was crying laughing.
I just love those. You know, I just love anything with those people breaking out of their things. And I'm sympathetic to those that, you know, it's live. You just stumble through it once in a while and the black, you know. And
Yep.
And the black, you know. Sure, Dave.
Oh, I'm told we have one more. Sorry, I have one more.
Oh, good.
We have one more.
Make it, Toby!
I'm so
That was from
uncomfortable.
Brock. Another one of Brock's classics.
Who is this for? Who is this for? Like, why you're curating this show? Why did you just show high school, like a high school video, like a high school wrestling video of like a kid in an uncomfortable position with another kid's crotch over his face? Like, anyway, yeah, supposedly these people are against sexualizing kids, but you know, whatever. Yeah, sure, whatever. They'll throw a clip of balls being rubbed in a kid's face at the end of a show.
Brock,
the gist
we
of it
gotta
is that
talk,
Toby's
man.
enjoying it. Toby's like,
Those are the people that work at TSA.
yeah, those are the TSA people right there. Your future TSA agents.
You have sunscreen in your bag, say no more. That's what's coming for you. All right, Dave, painting and wine night coming up because I want to see your rendition of David on canvas.
Oh, Brock wants me to ask you what he got you for Valentine's.
Oh, it was very, very sweet. He outdid himself for sure. He bought this like really cool art piece with something that looks like a record. It's art, like an old vinyl record, and it's going to be our first dance song at our wedding. It was really sweet. Yeah.
What's the song? Are we allowed to know?
It's called Cover Me Up by Morgan Wallen. Great song. It was
Oh.
like the song that played all the time on the radio when we first were dating, and it was just like unexpectedly everywhere during our relationship.
Well,
so
get this.
very sweet.
You may not associate me with country music, but there's an awful lot of Morgan Wallen being played in my car because when David gets in the car, he's always playing Morgan Wallen, and then I get in the car and he loves that Morgan Wallen.
Wait. Dave's name is Dave, obviously. His partner's name is David? Did I never put together that they had the same name? Do I have that right? Oh, that's really awkward. I feel like that's really awkward. I would struggle if that were me. You know? Dave squared. God.
Okay, I'm going to give you one last challenge for your
Yeah.
day before we say goodbye then, because all these people who say they hate country music are really shocked to discover Beyonce dropped a country song this week during the Super Bowl, and it's actually really catchy. So after we hang up, you
Wow.
got to go listen
I
to
will
it.
listen to that. I don't hate country music at all. I can't say I love it. Like I'm not like playing it all the time in the house. But when I hop in the car and he's got Morgan Wallen playing, or like I can definitely do some like old school Dolly Parton for sure, or
Oh,
some
yeah.
Kenny Rogers or whatever. It's not like my thing fully, but like I get it. And I think I told you one of the true joys of my life ever was performing with Jordan at the Grand Ole Opry in
Oh, yeah.
Nashville. It was just unbelievable.
The coolest thing
And
ever.
they talk
Oh,
they
I'm a
talk
big
about
country music
acoustics.
girl.
Yeah, they talk about acoustics in a room, like you can feel it there. It sounds perfect. It's hard to describe how brilliant it
Oh.
is. All right, we must stop so that Connor
Please.
can go to the hospital.
Please.
We do not have
Also, just like the amount of times that are talking about how sick this guy is. Why is he like? If somebody's that sick, they should not be at work.
shows next week because we are off for President's Week. So enjoy the week, everybody. Celebrate those presidents and the freedom that they helped preserve for all of us. And Isabel, I assume I'll see you at a random. Well, no, I'll probably see you at Publix about 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Getting our pup subs this weekend.
Adios.
That was truly awful. Guys, that was truly awful. We reached a new level, a new low of content. Not us per se, but Dave Rubin. I think it's safe to say Dave Rubin has hit rock bottom. I think that's safe to say. You know? I'm like stunned. Yeah, like I think we can safely say that the Majority Report, the Sam Cedar, the Majority Report crew, I think we can safely say that they have successfully run that dude into the ground. Call the podcast police.